times alive.
Live from the University of New Hampshire in Durham, WMUR TV Sports presents the UNH homecoming game. The UNH Wildcats take on the University of Connecticut. Today's game is being brought to you by Numerica, Silver Brothers, and by McDonald's.
It's homecoming 1986 here on the campus of the University of New Hampshire, and thousands of alumni from years past have returned to enjoy today's festivities, which of course include the annual homecoming football game. And today it's the University of Connecticut against the UNH Wildcats. Good afternoon, I'm Phil Andrews, and the gentleman to my right is former UNH linebacker and Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Dave Rosmick. He will be my color man this afternoon as I bring you the play-by-play. Also adding some inside depth to this afternoon's coverage is Channel 9 Sports Director Frank Malacote, who will pace up and down the sidelines to bring you the best possible coverage that we want to bring you here on Channel 9 this afternoon. So we want you to sit back, just relax, and enjoy the game this afternoon as it comes your way live in a couple of minutes.
Straight back, straight back.
You gotta be kidding.
Let's get it over with.
Let's not rush into this.
Let's rush into this.
Wait, save the Molson Gold. It's earned later.
It's a bribe.
Oh, it's an incentive.
I want 50% up front.
Steinway?
No German beer. I got Molson Gold.
You got any strong neighbors?
Want a beer?
Howdy! Want some help?
Sure.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Molson, make it golden for me and my friends.
I think we're moving in the wrong direction here.
I could live right here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Banks at Banks Chevrolet Cadillac in Concord. I'm here in the body shop in front of our guide chart frame straightening machine, along with our laser measuring device. We can straighten anything, including medium-duty trucks, on our equipment and bring them to within better than factory specs. Next time your car or truck needs body work, give us a try. I know you'll be pleased. Banks Chevrolet Cadillac, 137 Manchester Street in Concord.
And now the UNH Marching Band continuing the national anthem here at Cal Stadium. Once again, the national anthem played by the UNH Wildcat Marching Band, and what a fitting way to start up every American sport band. Once again, I am Phil Andrews, and the man in the broadcast booth with me this afternoon, as I earlier mentioned, is former Kansas City Chiefs and UNH linebacker Dave Rosmick. And Dave, must feel good for you to be back here at your alma mater.
Feels fantastic. Again, I played my college football right here, same field, everything, and just a fantastic feeling. We have the makings of a super game here today with the University of Connecticut coming in here 3-0 and UNH 3-1. Very important game to both teams, and we ought to see some super plays. A lot of talent out here, and just a fantastic game.
You mentioned the fact that the Wildcats are 3-1. Their lone setback came in the season opener down in Virginia against the Richmond Spiders. But since then, the Wildcats have been nothing short of spectacular. Come on to win 3 big games, 2 of them conference. The second game of the season was an overtime thriller against the Fighting Blue Hens from the Delaware University. So we expect much of the same this afternoon. Dave, when these two teams get together, it's always a thrilling game right down until the last whistle.
It certainly has been. Going to the past, most teams, none of the games have been decided for more than 10 points on the difference. I think today you're in for a real aerial show here, and UNH offensively going to put the ball in the air, and Connecticut offensively going to do the same thing. Both teams very, very good.
All right, and out on the field, as you look at the UNH sideline, they are more than ready for this one. That is Eric Facey, the youngster out of Hampton, New Hampshire, who you saw in our pregame show. He has done well for himself. They're only a junior. He'll be back next year, and he will hand off kickoff chores, field goal, and extra point chores for the Wildcats as they continue their trek towards the Yankee Conference crown. UNH to kick off to open this one, the University of Connecticut to receive. There's a wide shot of the field. And we're just seconds away from this contest. It's a deep kick, and it'll be taken. No, it's going to be out of the end zone. George Booth, the return kicker for Connecticut, just watched that one sail over his head, and Eric Facey has done that all season long. And this year, Dave, the college players are kicking off from the 35-yard line instead of the 40.
Yes, they are, and I'll tell you, he really put his leg behind that one. Put it right out of the end zone, and a great stop for UNH.
So the University of Connecticut will start out this game. First down and 10 from their own 20. There's the starting lineup. Quarterback Peter Lane, Terry Antrim, the fullback. Jeff Gallagher is the tailback. Glenn Antrim, one split end. David Dunn, and the tight end will be Schweitzer. That's Scott Schweitzer, number 12. Lane, straight drop back, and a quick out pass. This one is underthrown. The ball was intended for Jeff Gallagher for the backfield. The coverage was there. So we come up second down and 10 for the Huskies.
The UNH looks like they're ready for him today, Phil. Very tight coverage on that play. Connecticut showing us an I formation and splitting the backs and trying to get out there quick on the defender. Couldn't do it.
Second down and 10, Huskies. Number 11, Peter Lane, the quarterback. The handoff goes to Gallagher. Gallagher through the middle of the line for maybe a pickup of 3. So a 3-yard pickup for Gallagher. We now have third down and 7 for the Huskies. We are just underway, 14:33 remaining in the first quarter. A lot of movement in that Husky backfield as they go with the lone setback and the slot man. Slot man is Gallagher. Lane wants to pass it. He's being pressured, and he's brought down by the Wildcat defense for a big loss. So UConn is going to have to punt the ball away.
Excellent defensive play, Phil. Once again, University. Here they go. You can see excellent contact underneath the pad. Beat his. Beautiful. Just came flying in from the outside, and very good play.
Into punts for the Huskies, number 99, Jim Carrera. It's a short one, cut off on the wind, taken by Harrison at the New Hampshire 45. He's got running room outside, and he's being dragged down. Nice effort there by the UConn special teams. Harrison looked like he was going to break to the outside, and he was brought down there nicely with a one-hand tackle.
UConn had a couple of blessings here, Phil. I'll tell you, he was open all the way down the side if he got free.
So the Wildcats with their first offensive possession of the afternoon inside the 50-yard line of Connecticut from the 42-yard line. Movement in the backfield, that's Tyler Bannock and Milton. The running backs in motion there is tight end Rob Spittle. Gene, first play from scrimmage is a pass. He's got time across the middle, and Rich Easton just could not grab onto it. Rich Easton, the other tight end, just out of his reach. So the Wildcats not able to move the ball on their first possession. They come up with a second down and 10, still in good field position. No score here from Cal Stadium this afternoon if you are just joining us. The Wildcats on their first offensive drive. There's the offensive line for the UNH Wildcats, and they've got some big guys. We'll tell you a little more about them as the game continues on. The Wildcats now second down in 10. Spittle again in motion from left to right. Gene, the fake action. Got away from one defender. He's got plenty of room and airs it out. Almost brought down in the backfield, but he was able to get off the pass. Luckily, he wasn't picked off.
Gene showing a lot of athletic ability at that time. Just shook off the intended tackler and saved the play.
So 2 straight passing plays for the Wildcats, and they come up empty-handed. They're the defensive unit for the UConn Huskies, rather. Brett Carrigan, David Amendola, David Dudley, the linebacker, and Scott Daniels, strong safety. He's the one we want to watch this afternoon in that defensive secondary for the Huskies. Third down and 10, New Hampshire. Gene again to pass. He's got a man wide open, and it's a first down to Billy Farrell at the UConn 30-yard line.
Nice call that time by the University of New Hampshire. They went with twins out to the right-hand side, and UConn was playing man-to-man, but playing a little too loose. Here on the replay, you can see Gene dropping back. Outside on the right-hand side, you have the twins playing a little too loose on the coverage, and beautiful pass right into the arms.
Billy Powell, his first came back in quite some time. He had an injury and a flag on the play. As Gene gets off the pass, it's knocked down, but it'll come back. I think Curtis Olds may have gone a little too early on the snap there, David. Curtis Olds certainly with a lot of speed and wanted to get a jump start on the defense that time, and in anticipation jumped off sides. So it'll come back, and the Wildcats will have to do it all over again, only this time they'll have to go a little further.
It certainly helps you beat that defender, starting off a little bit earlier.
There's a good shot of number 17, quarterback Bobby Jean. By the way, coming into the season was not the starting quarterback. Coming into the season, the starting quarterback for the Wildcats was Richie Byrne out of Philadelphia. He's also the co-captain on this Wildcat squad, along with linebacker Dave Duggan, who is also back in action this afternoon. The University of Connecticut denied the penalty, so it's 2nd down and 10 now for the Wildcats from the Husky 30-yard line. The give is up the middle. It's a fumble! A fumble by the big fullback, Kevin Sims, and UConn get possession of the ball, going back the other way. 1st down and 10, Huskies.
Heads up by a ball player by Nate Groton there, recovering the fumble. Doesn't quite look like he had some of that ball going through the line when he was hit.
I tell you what, you don't want Kevin Sims to get any momentum. He's a big fullback, 250 pounds. So he's about as big as some of those guys along the offensive line. A lot of movement again by the Huskies in that backfield. They go with a straight I formation and 2 receivers. The pitch out goes to Gallagher around the right side. Gallagher is tripped up, but picks up about 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Huskies. .34 remaining in this first quarter. New Hampshire looked to be on a drive, and they got stopped on the fumble by Kevin Sims. No score again. Early action here as the Huskies now get set to attempt their 2nd play from scrimmage in their 2nd possession of the afternoon. In motion there, David Dunn going from right to left. Laying the handoff to Gallagher. Gallagher's got a little running room, and he's brought down there by 53 Basil Jaroschuk for a pickup of about 4 yards.
That time, Phil, just a slow handoff, okay? Let the defense commit themselves and just broke it back to the outside and picked up some nice yardage.
Yeah, you're right. It looked almost like a draw, but really a draw.
Yep, that's right.
They didn't hold Gallagher as long as they could have.
Let the defense commit themselves and just broke it back to the outside.
3rd down and 3 to go for the Huskies. Lane wants to throw it, airs it out, and the receiver's nowhere in the area. Brings up a 4th down situation. And I assume that Tom Jackson is going to want to put this ball away, especially when you have someone like Bob Jean on the sideline who could probably put it in the end zone, no problem.
The last play, it looks like we had a little communication problem between the wide receiver and the quarterback. And the quarterback was throwing for the quick out. Wide receiver broke it upfield. Not to be found.
In for his 2nd punt of this afternoon for Connecticut, Jim Curreri, and back to receive for the Wildcats is number 12, Stan Harrison, at his own 35-yard line. It's a high punt, and Harrison takes it and takes off, and once again dragged down by the shirt tails. So the Wildcats have their 2nd possession of the afternoon. They'll start this one out from their own 33-yard line. 1st down and 10. 11:37 remaining in the first quarter. Still no score.
First and 10 New Hampshire at their 34-yard line.
Again, you see that Yankee Conference across the top. This is a crucial game for both squads. New Hampshire 2-1 in the conference, while the Huskies are 1-0. They're 1 win to Richmond. Gene wants to hand off this time to Urbanek, and Urbanek finds a little daylight through there for a quick spurt of about 3 yards. Up to the Wildcat 37. Another interesting thing about Urbanek, he was not the starting tailback coming into the season either. Number 27, Scotty Perry was, and Scott Perry, a minor injury, has kept him on the sideline, and Urbanek has stepped in and done well, as has freshman Norm Ford, and you will probably see him later on in the game. Gene, a quick out, and gets the pass off to Farrell, and Farrell is close to a first down up to the New Hampshire 45-yard line.
First down, New Hampshire. Ball now is in New Hampshire 45.
For the Wildcats, they get a first down. As you get a shot from our end zone camera, and you can see the formation. Now they shift. Playing the fullback almost in the wingback slot, but not quite. The handoff goes to Urbanek. Urbanek almost loses the handle, and it gets tripped up for about a 1-yard pickup.
Crowder Urbanek on the carry. Tackled by Nate Cotton. He is one of the plays, second down, 9.
As you see, tailback shuffling in and out. That's 85. Rich Eastman that just came off, and Rob Spittle checks back in. Bob Jean, drop back, being pressured. He's going for the long ball to Farrell, and Farrell has it! Connecticut 17, and Bobby Jean rather, going for everything to Billy Farrell. Remember, Farrell's first game back in quite some time.
Beautiful reception. Bill beat him one-on-one coverage, man-to-man, just beat him downfield, beautifully thrown, nice reception. Again, if UNH keeps on doing this all day long, this could be a high-scoring ball game. Put back again.
Gene again out to Farrell, and Farrell has picked up 3 receptions. This one good for about 3. So, Dave, Billy, who has been injured, as I mentioned, some sore ribs, has come in here and made some clutch plays. And I tell you, they've got some great receivers on this Wildcat squad this year.
Very talented. Okay, quarterback, wide receivers. What they seem to be doing at this time is that they're basically picking on the left side, the left corner of the University of Connecticut. The defensive back is playing a little bit too loose, and they're taking advantage of it.
The man on that side is number 9, Travis Sasser. The give is up the middle. Wildcats pick up maybe half a yard, if that. Good point you just made there, Dave. Travis Sasser is the D-back on that side, a sophomore out of North Haven, Connecticut. He's been burned several times early in this game, and I think that's something that maybe the UConn coaches would like to make an adjustment to.
Well, I hope they make it soon, if they're going to stop them.
The Wildcats on the move. The ball down at the UConn 15-yard line. 8:16 remaining in the first quarter. No score, but the Wildcats, yes, they are knocking on the door. Motion. That's Oles out of the tailback slot, coming to the left side. Gene, back to pass, and it's picked up! It's picked up by number 43, Kevin Johnson, and Johnson returns it back to the 35-yard line. First down and 10, Connecticut. The second turnover this afternoon by New Hampshire.
Kevin Johnson, certainly well-read play. Waited, and just came off, picked it off. Very real. Here we go on the replay. You'll see Johnson starting to come into the pick right there. Here we go. Beautiful position.
So both of New Hampshire's drives stopped by turnovers, and the Connecticut Huskies now with the ball from their own the 33-yard line, and the UNH defense says, not this time, you don't. As Terry Antrim gets pushed back, but not before picking up about 2 yards.
It's safe to say that UConn ran into a giant wall that time.
There are some big guys along the front there. The middle 3, Paul Boulay, Bill O'Malley, Kevin Doherty, they go 250, 245, and 250 respectively in weight. Connecticut, second down and 8. Lane being pressured. He's got some running room, and he'll have the first down up around midfield. He's hit hard, but holds on to the ball. to pick up the first down for the Huskies inside New Hampshire territory.
First down, Connecticut. Ball to the Hampshire 48-yard line.
We're dropping back, looking for his receivers. UNH had him, couldn't find him, lost him, and AC breaks out of the pocket for a long gain. Tough break for UNH. They had him back there for a sack.
So the Huskies just across midfield with a first down in 10. On the option around the left side, the pitch out goes to Terry Antrim, and Antrim's got some running room. Antrim's loose, he's still on his feet, and he's all the way down to the 25-yard line of New Hampshire. A big run there, 23-yard run by Antrim. So the Huskies get 2 running plays to move the ball down to the New Hampshire 25-yard line, and now they are knocking on the door.
Ball to the Hampshire 25-yard line.
I'll tell you, Phil, I like that offense. When you have an option going out the outside like that, awfully tough to defense. Run perfectly that time, you see what happens when it is.
So Antrim, a big gainer for the Huskies, gives them another first down and closer to a touchdown. There's the fake, and the give again goes to Antrim. And Antrim's got more running room and picks up another 6 yards.
There you have it again. They ran a few series ago. Okay, misdirection, coming right back to the left side.
Antrim's averaging about 1.8 yards a game. He has 1 touchdown on the year and has carried the ball 19 times for 154 yards. So he's got some wheels.
Play before that, and this one, this past one, a little poor tackling on UNH part.
Got to wrap those arms up to bring down the ball carrier. As Connecticut now with a second down. The drop back by Lane, a quick outside pass, and it's collected in there by number 4, Glenn Antrim. Brother of fullback rather, Jerry Antrim. So that one gives the Huskies another first down, all the way down to the Wildcat 19-yard, make that the 14-yard line. With 5:52 left to go in this first quarter, still no score. But Connecticut in that striking range. First and 10. 3 receivers in the formation. The give goes to the fullback Antrim, and Antrim's through for another 3 or 4 yards inside the 10-yard line.
Seems to be one of their favorite plays, Phil. Again, misdirection, but coming back to the opposite side, to the right side. Just makes those defensive people take that one stutter step, and again, enough just to break it. Makes that crack there, and the back's good enough, he finds it.
And along with doing that, Dave, Lane is coming back and showing the defense the ball and then putting it in the gut of Antrim. And Antrim's picking up some big yardage. Second down. The give this time. Oh, goes to the Sheldon. He's hit hard.
Kevin Doherty, I tell you, he was shot out of a cannon there. He read that play, and he was there before the ball was. Here we have it on replay. Tailback's going to get the ball. Boom. I'll tell you, super hit. Took him right off his feet.
Kevin Doherty, a junior out of Waterville, Maine, has put the Huskies in a 3rd down in 7 situation at the New Hampshire 11. Lane again wants to pass, looking into the end zone, and it's touchdown by Scott Schweitzer, the junior tight end from Madison, Connecticut, and the Huskies draw first blood.
Nice play. Just floated the pass up there. Receiver just was there. Nice. Here we come in the replay again. Too much time. Too much time in the backfield. You can see stops Pake. There it is. Right on target. I think that's going to be one of the big keys here, Phil, today. UNH has got to get a pass rush.
So Scott Schweitzer with his 2nd touchdown of the year, and the extra point is good. So finally we have a score. 4:38 left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 University of Connecticut. So the Wildcats give up the early touchdown, and they trail 7-0. As Connecticut gets ready to kick off to the Wildcats, and it's a squib kick along the ground, picked up at the 35-yard line by Rich Eason, and Eason doesn't return it anywhere. He runs right down that line, and the Wildcats will have a first down and 10 from their own 35.
Phil, it looks like that University of Connecticut, after watching game films, might find that the defense of UNH reacts a little too quick. I mean, it sounds a little funny, but there are teams that will do that. They're doing a lot of misdirection, and that little stutter step seems to be opening up the crack, and that's how University of Connecticut's moving the ball right now.
And they've done a good job of mixing it up. And the scoreboard indicates that as the Huskies have jumped out to a quick 7-0 lead. So New Hampshire now, starting from their own 35-yard line, will look to equal the task. Bobby Jean, plenty of time, airs it out and gets it outside to Curtis Olds. Is it good? It is good. So Olds picks up a large chunk to that 10 yards, and it'll be 2nd down and 3 for New Hampshire.
And UNH is showing a pro offense, putting twins out to the right-hand side, a little motion back to the inside, and just a simple comeback by the wide receiver, and the ball's being thrown right on target. I think that's a big key. The ball is getting there right where it should be, and UNH is able to move the ball. And I think you're going to see him score very shortly.
2nd down, New Hampshire. The fake pitch out to Milton, and Milton is around that right side for about 3. He's short of the 1st down by about a yard.
Little misdirection on UNH's part.
There's a good shot of number 7, Curtis Olds, just to the right side of your TV screen. Curtis has been a threat this year. He has 4 touchdowns already on 328 yards in receiving, 20 receptions. Had a big game against Delaware, 8 receptions for 144 yards. The Cats now with a 3rd down and 1, and the pitch out goes to Norm Ford, and Norm Ford is around the right side for the 1st down, close to the 50-yard line.
Nice play, nice ball handling by Norm Ford.
Norm Ford is only a freshman, but last week had 100 yards against Dartmouth and a touchdown. So a lot of youngsters on this Wildcat Ball Club this year, and they're doing the trick. Bobby Jean is only a sophomore. Chris Braun is only a freshman. Billy Farrell, a sophomore. So a lot of youngsters on that squad. 1st and 10, New Hampshire from the 49-yard line. Jean out to Farrell, and Farrell holds on to it. A nice catch down to the UConn 35-yard line.
I'll tell you, Phil, that's super concentration on Farrell's part. You just looked that ball right in, kept those hands right on it. You're going to see it on replay here again. Right there on the hands, bobbles it, great concentration, gets hit, hangs onto the ball. Excellent receiver.
So while they're covering Curtis Olds, Billy Farrell has been open for the first part of this game. And he's gotten a 1st down for the Wildcats down to the Connecticut 35. Spittle in motion. Jean again back to pass. Across the middle and knocked away by the defensive back, Scott Daniels. And the Wildcats are questioning a pass interference call, but the referee was there.
I'll tell you, Phil, that was awful close.
And there is a flag on the play, but it's not against Connecticut. It'll be against the Wildcats. Don't forget tonight at 9 p.m. here on Channel 9, Heart of the City. Later on in our scheduled programming, call is holding against the Wildcats, brings up a 1st down and 20. So they got a long way to go as they get pushed back to the Connecticut 45.
It's a tough penalty to take at this time, Phil.
There's that pro setback that we were talking about. The lone man is the fullback, Derek Milton. Jean wants to pass. He's got pressure. And it's across the middle, and 49, Kevin Sims just could not get the handle on that one, as the Wildcats had set up that screenplay nicely. And Frank Malicote is down on the sidelines right now with an interview.
Thank you, Phil. I'm with Mike Ryan, a former starting tailback. He's been sidelined for most of the season with some internal injuries. And how are things going so far?
Well, things have been going pretty rough, but I'm looking on the up and up for the coming future. I should be ready by next week.
It's got to be tough for you sitting on the sidelines for the first 4 or 5 games this year.
It's torturous. That's one of the worst feelings, but no, they're doing well, so it's got to keep high spirits.
Okay, we'll go back to Phil and Dave for the play.
Jean airs it out, and it's almost picked off. The pass intended for Olds down at the 25-yard line of Connecticut. And again, almost a 2nd interception this afternoon by Jean.
They were going to let Olds touch that ball that time. 3 defenders on him, and and very tight coverage.
So the Wildcats with a third down and long to go. They trail this one by the score of 7-0. Connecticut scoring on their second possession this afternoon. Again, they want to throw. There it is, the long bomb to Oles, and Oles, threw his hands down to the 10-yard line, and had he caught that, he would have been 6 points. But as you have it, it's 4th down and 20 for the Wildcats, and they will have to punt.
I'll tell you, Phil, UNH is getting plenty of time to throw the ball. That one was just thrown a little bit too high, and it just didn't happen. But like you said, if it did, it was a quick 6 points for UNH.
So Nate Baldessaro is back at his own 40-yard line to punt the ball away, and back there to receive the punt is Dunn. This is a nice spiral taken. No, it's going to bounce into the end zone, so the Huskies will have it 1st down and 10 from their own 20.
Phil, I think we were talking before, UNH has really changed its offensive strategy this year. Basically known for its running ability, now going into a pro 4-quick receiver, which means that they're putting 2 wide receivers on one side, and on the other side they have a tight end and the split receiver, making it a very pass-oriented offense.
So the Huskies come out with their 3rd possession on offense this afternoon. And they'll start from their 20. Lane again, the give to Gallagher, and Gallagher winds and twists up to about the 21. Again, there's a minute 46 left to go in this first quarter, and the Huskies are holding on to a 7-0 lead. The Wildcats, Dave, need to shake that. They had 2 scoring opportunities. One was picked off, and the other one was overthrown. So the capability is there, but mentally, they just haven't been able to put it together.
Just got to settle down a little bit and play some ball like they're capable of doing, and I'm sure we're going to see a turnaround, yeah.
Well, they put 66 points on the board last week against Dartmouth, so we know they can put the ball in the end zone. 2nd down, 7. Lane, back to pass. Plenty of time, and it's a screenplay, and it was intended for the tight end. And I think we may have a flag against New Hampshire.
I think you're going to see a pass interference called here, Phil. Very tight coverage, the tight end coming across underneath the linebacker, just putting his hands on his back, and I think that's what we're going to see here.
So the ball was intended for tight end Dave Cristoforo, and I think what they're going to call is pass interference against New Hampshire, which is the call. So some mental mistakes, as we mentioned, by the Wildcats are hurting them early.
I'll come to the defense of the linebacker on that part. Very tough to cover a tight end releasing across the field, in close. By the time he tries to read for run or pass, okay, he's already a couple steps behind. Just putting his hands on him, and it cost. Tough penalty.
1st down, Connecticut, their 32-yard line.
So it'll be 1st down in 10. Huskies with the ball up now to the 32-yard line. I formation. And the give goes to Gallagher around the left side, and he's dragged down by the right side of that Wildcat defense. Number 92, Scotty Curtis, in on the play. You know, an interesting thing about Curtis, he will be all over the field this afternoon. He is the strongest and fastest player on this Wildcat squad. He bench presses 440 pounds and runs a 40-yard distance in 4.5 seconds. He's a junior, 6'1", 220 pounds. 2nd down and 6 for the Huskies. Lane looking outside, and wide open is David Dunn down to the 40 at more yardage. And he's finally dragged down by Scott Curtis. Just talking about him, but not before picking up a 1st down at midfield.
It's a little loose coverage. Well, UNH has got to tighten up that pass coverage. Here we have it on replay. Nice drop back, some pressure that time. Coming in the outside, it's simple out pattern, and just didn't get over quick enough. A little bit tighter on those wide receivers, and we'll have a strong defensive unit here.
Connecticut doing well by mixing up the plays, and what has worked so well for them is that little draw play to Gallagher. This time it's a straight give, and Gallagher gets up to about the 45-yard line of New Hampshire, where it'll be second down for the for the Huskies. So at the end of one quarter, the Wildcats trail this one by a score of 7-0. Second quarter coming up. One full quarter has gone by, and the Wildcats trail it by the score of 7-0. So their homecoming game here is being spoiled early, with the Wildcats at their own 46, facing UConn offense has really been mixing it up here this afternoon, David.
They have.
Now there's a pass. Looks like it's going to be an option, and wide open is Antrim. Antrim drops the ball. That was Glenn Antrim wide open. The Wildcat defense had blown the coverage. And so it's a third down and 6, and I tell you what, Glenn Antrim went back to the huddle kicking himself that time because he was wide open for another 6 points. So the Huskies try to regroup right here, and Lane drops back and fires it across the middle, and almost picked off by Stan Harrison. The ball intended for number 23, and that young man is Mike Adams. So overthrown, almost intercepted, and the Wildcats will get the ball back on a punt. So Stan Harrison back at his own 10-yard line. And Carrier will get set to punt from his 41. Plenty of time. Gets off an end-over-end kick, and this one will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So the Wildcats will bring it out to their own 20-yard line.
I tell you, he didn't miss the corner by much at that time, Phil.
I tell you what, it just bounced on the inside of that post. Had it bounced on the outside, the Wildcats would have been starting this drive from their own 1. So a big drop pass for a touchdown by number 4, Glenn Antrim, which would have put the Huskies up by 14. Will probably haunt him later on tonight when he goes home.
Looks like we're going to see some more tricks from University of Connecticut. Excellent call. UNH caught asleep in the secondary and almost a TD.
Freshman Norm Ford is now checked in at tailback as you get a shot of Bob Jean, and the give goes to Norm up the middle, and Ford picks up maybe 2.
I'll tell you, Phil, I'd like to see UNH offensively start going back to those quick slant-ins. Seem to have been working for them in the first quarter, and absolutely very tough to defend.
Well, in the young part of the season, Dave, the Wildcat offense has been very sluggish in the first half of their games. They come on very strong in the second half because the defense comes around. Jean gets a quick out pass to Farrell, which is dropped. And it'll bring up a third down for the Wildcats.
Jean doing an excellent job that time, releasing the ball. Blitz right straight up the middle, took a good shot, put the ball right on target. Just was no reception at that point. Tight coverage on that time by the University of Connecticut, too.
Certainly the pass protection was not there that time for Jean, as you mentioned. The Wildcats come out with 3 receivers, and the lone setback is fullback Derek Milton. Jean showing pass and airs it out down their right sideline to Earth, and and they're saved out of bounds. What looked like a pass reception down the 50-yard line was called out of bounds by the officials. The Wildcats will have to punt the ball away.
Here having a replay again. Excellent job by Curtis Oles to bring this ball down. Thrown just slightly behind him. Good coverage. He beat his defender. Okay, brought outside, out of bounds. Tough break for UNH. Excellent job done by Oles to bring that ball down.
And remember, you only need 1 foot in college football, and he didn't have any feet that time.
Real close.
So a 4th down, and Nate Baldacero will have to punt the ball away to number 15, David Dunn, who is standing down at his own 46. Baldacero gets off a high punt into the wind. And they'll let it roll, and there'll be a flag on the play. This will be a penalty against New Hampshire.
You can't make that contact.
And as Dave said, you cannot make that contact. 13:47 remaining in the second quarter, 7-0 Connecticut. We'll be back right after this.
I said you don't have to go to Hawaii. Send me.
It does.
Where are they? Where's
The homecoming contingent here at Cal Stadium this afternoon, about 20,000 plus have returned to their alma mater to enjoy a game which so far has been dominated by the University of Connecticut. And right now they are at center field discussing a penalty, which we told you before the break was an interference call. You cannot touch that punt returner or kick returner, Dave.
No, you have to give him the right to receive the ball, and it was clear, you know, no chance at all.
And our referees for this afternoon, Basil Cronin, James Guinan, Thomas Beck, Bernard Schifo, Mike Stark, Tom Santaguida, and the clock operator is Ernie Bastianelli this afternoon here in Cal Stadium. So the Huskies with excellent field position following that penalty on the punt will bring it back to the New Hampshire 35-yard line. That's Antrim in motion. And now the rollout lane, and there's a flag on the play, and Lane's got plenty of running room around that left side of the Wildcat defense. But there's a flag on the play once again, and it'll go against Connecticut.
Good break for UNH at this point. Left-hand side of the defense just couldn't stop it. Came right around the corner, and nobody coming up and forcing that back into the inside.
So fortunately for New Hampshire, there's a flag on the play, and this one will be brought back 5 yards, so it'll be first down and 15 from New Hampshire's 40.
UNH doesn't want it right at this point here is for UConn to take it in for another quick score and be behind 2 touchdowns.
Back over the motion, Connecticut, 5-yard penalty. First down 15 for the Huskies at the New Hampshire 40-yard line.
There's a shot of the coaching staff on the UNH sideline. They must be a little concerned at this point. Lane on the drop back, and the quick outside pass to David Dunn is good for a lot of that. And the Huskies will have second down and 5 from New Hampshire's 30.
We have a little play pass here done by University of Connecticut. Once again, no different than UConn's defense. UNH seems to be backing off on the wide receivers. Nice catch, good reception.
Defensive backs giving the Connecticut receivers a lot of cushion. Coming in motion now towards your screen is David Dunn to the left side. The handoff up the middle, Antrim, and Antrim's tripped up. And he'll be short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. It'll be third down to go for the Huskies. .12:48 remaining in this first half. 7-0 Connecticut out in front. They scored in the first quarter on their second possession. And right now they are looking to try and put some more points up on the board as they have a third down and 2 from the New Hampshire 27. The give to Antrim. Antrim is tripped up but gets forward for the first down.
They feel some good contact there, except they don't seem to be wrapping their arms. They had him stopped in the backfield. And he does. He has the first down.
The Wildcat defense having to dig in tough here as the Huskies are driving once more. First and 10 from New Hampshire's 25. Lane outside, pass intended for Gallagher and overthrown. Scott Curtis on the coverage. So the UConn defenders have been fairly open, and they dropped some easy passes.
What UNH is doing right now, they're putting a linebacker out on one of those wide receivers, and by the time he reads that, for pass or run, it's a tough job to get out there, and he's that many steps late.
Over the middle, a pass intended for 15 Dunn, and a nice defensive play by Dan Smith breaks it up to make it third down for the Huskies. Nice play there, Dave, by Dan Smith.
Dave Smith did an excellent job right there. Okay, read the pass well, and went up to into the air to block that pass and put it away. Excellent job. That's the kind of coverage they should be looking for everybody.
Well, I think the Wildcats came out here this afternoon expecting a little more of the run, and Connecticut has done a great job of mixing it up.
They certainly have.
Right now, Dave, they're faced with a 3rd down and 10. Lane looking to the end zone, and a wide open down at the 5-yard line is number 4, Glenn Antrim, knocked out of bounds by 38 to Teddy White. But again, the Huskies using that outside pass, and they right now have a 1st down and goal.
Looks like we have a blown coverage on this particular play. Plenty of time to throw. Again, they're just not getting that rush in there, enabling to the receivers to beat the defenders. Nobody near them within 3 to 4 yards. You just can't have that.
Well, Tom Jackson, the head coach of Connecticut, will be the first to tell you that Connecticut does not have quick backs, but they have good hands, and they run pass patterns really well. And that was evidence right there as Connecticut knocking on the door. And I mean, they are knocking on the door. They are on the doorstep. And they have a 1st and goal from the New Hampshire 3-yard line.
We'll have to see University of New Hampshire defense tighten up right here. Be a big turning point in the game. UNH can stop them right here.
The reason we have a pause in play right now is that the Connecticut Huskies have taken a timeout, and Tom Jackson wants to think this one over. And as he thinks it over, I'll let you know that once again, it's 7-0 Connecticut with 11:58 left to go in the 1st half. Well, Bill Bowles and his coaching staff, they've had a chance to think about this one. Connecticut, after a long pass play to Glenn Antrim from Lane, have a 1st down and goal from the New Hampshire 4-yard line. They give to Gallagher, and Gallagher is stopped short at the line of scrimmage. Paul Boulay in there on the tackle, so it's 2nd and goal for the Huskies.
I think that's Stonewall again. That's the way UNH defensive have played and probably will always play. Just a complete Stonewall, running back going nowhere, some good solid hitting.
Teddy White, defensive back out of St. Petersburg, Florida, but he is originally a Connecticut native. The Yankees, one of those defensive back positions, as the Huskies look to punch this one in. Lane on the option outside to Antrim, and Antrim is stopped for a loss.
I'll tell you, Phil, UNH is getting sparked now. The option that they couldn't play well a few series ago, just played it perfect. Picture perfect, everybody doing their responsibility. Here comes the replay now. Quarterback shuffling down the line. There he is. Has to pitch it, okay? Everybody covering who they're supposed to be. And that's what happens when the defense plays ball.
46 All-America Ilya Juroschuk in on that tackle. I say All-American, he was a preseason favorite by Street and Smith's magazine. As the Huskies come up 3rd and goal. 2 receivers in the pattern. Lane, roll out to his left. He's got running room and gets it in. Oh! Nice defensive play by Eric Thompson. The pass intended for tailback Jeff Gallagher, and Eric Thompson broke it up, forcing the Huskies to go for a field goal.
Eric Thompson, super play, I'll tell you. He saved UNH a touchdown that time. Stepped right in front of that ball, patted it down. Excellent play. Pressure came a little late that time on the quarterback. Not until all the way on the outside here. Once again, UNH has got to get that quick pressure on the passer so these DBs, okay, can cover.
So a big play by the UNH defense. They have been instrumental all season long as Mark Carter is in to attempt the field goal, a short one of about 20 yards. It's down, and it is good. So Connecticut has taken a 10-0 lead with 10 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the 1st half. We'll be back with more UNH Wildcat football after this. So Mark Carter, who just a few minutes ago kicked a 20-yard field goal to put Connecticut up by 10, kicks off. And it'll be taken by Dan Smith at his own 5-yard line, and Smith returns it to the 20 and up to the 25, where New Hampshire will start it out 1st down and 10 from there. And Dan Smith, by the way, leads the Yankee Conference in kick returns this season with 198 yards and just added to his total right there. His average is about 28.3. So, Dave, you've had a chance to look at the Huskies. They lead now 10-0. What's your prognosis here?
Right.
Well, Bobby Jean has done a great job to date for the Wildcats, but this afternoon has gotten off slow, and if he gets that arm clicking, then I think the Wildcats will be okay. But they do trail by 10 right now with 10:25 remaining in the half. Gene outside to Farrell. Farrell not concentrating, right through his hands. But Dave, getting back to what I just mentioned, the Wildcats off to a slow start. Defensively, they've been struggling, and offensively, no concentration.
I think that's true. Okay, UNH right now has to put it together, and they've got to put it together before they get in out of this first half. I think, once again, no different. We just saw it just then. Quick slants. Okay, they're open. The ball's there, and they got to start catching. They got to put some points on the board. Defensively, they have to get a little more aggressive, especially in the secondary. Okay, pass coverage, they're hurting right now. I'm sure, by halftime, they're going to get it straightened out.
2nd and 10, New Hampshire for their own 25. The give goes to Urbanek. Urbanek with the little running room picks up about 3. Now, I say the defense is struggling. They just came up with a great defensive play to stop a touchdown, but they're giving up a lot of yardage in between the 10-yard lines.
Again, sign of a true defense, a good defense. Okay, bend, but never break. Always said, always heard, and that's true about a defense. UNH came out of it with only giving up 3 points instead of the 7. But I'm sure they're going to get it all together. It's not the kind of team that's going to lay down and quit.
3rd and 6, New Hampshire from their own 27. Gene again wants to pass, no pressure, and he's got Oles, and Oles is at first down territory and a little more. And Oles is finally brought down at the 38-yard line of New Hampshire, and that time some fancy footwork by Curtis gets the Wildcats first down and 10.
Nice running after the reception. Once again, UNH going that quick slant back inside from the outside. Here on the replay. Well thrown. I'll tell you, the combination between the quarterback and receivers at UNH here is just very good. You can see that fancy footwork, making sure that they get the first down.
There's Curtis, smiley youngster out of Hillside, New Jersey. Quite a character off the field as well. 1st and 10, the pitch out to Norm Ford. Norm Ford's got running room. Norm Ford up to the 50, the 40, up to the 30, and he's still on his feet, and Norm Ford is going to go all the way. Touchdown, New Hampshire. There are no flags on the field, and Norm Ford, a freshman who last week had 100 yards against Dartmouth and a touchdown, has just cut that 10-point margin to 3. Let's make it 4 and hope that Eric Baker can make it 3.
I'll tell you, Phil, on that play there, straight onto the outside, showed a lot of speed, breaking it back up the field. But the gentleman by the name of Derek Milton, okay, an excellent block. Derek Milton opened up the outside, pushing the guys outside, and I'll tell you, what an excellent block he made. He'll get some game points for that one, I'll tell you.
Eric Facey's extra point attempt looks to me like it's good, and it is. So a long run by freshman Norm Ford, the extra point tacked on by Eric Facey, has cut that Connecticut lead to just 3. And I'll tell you something, Dave, Norm Ford is averaging he's averaging 4.3 yards to carry, and that long run right there has helped him out. 10-7, Connecticut leading. We'll be back in a moment. So we come back with the Wildcats cutting that 10-point deficit to just 3 on a long 60-yard plus run by a freshman Norm Ford. And something I'd like to mention, Dave, is that he in high school was a teammate of Curtis Oles at Hillside, New Jersey. And there's Eric Facey set to kick off and back deep to receive. Well, this one's not going to go back that far. It's taken by Scott Schweitzer out of bounds. And there's a flag on the play. I think the ball may have been out of bounds before he caught it. So that means New Hampshire will have to kick the ball again. But what's your assessment of that last play, Dave?
I'll tell you, there was some excellent blocking, both on the offensive line and especially by the fullback. We're going to see it coming up here again. If you watch the fullback, number 40, just an excellent job kicking out on the outside. And Ford just breaks it back inside and just turns on the burners and just beats everybody. Excellent, excellent play, I'll tell you. That's the UNH of old.
There's the tail end of that run. Fancy footwork. Nice job by the 5'10", 180-pound freshman out of Hillside, New Jersey. And what a great number to be wearing. Last year, that number was worn by All-America Andre Guerin, and looks like Norm Ford is going to carry on that tradition. I'm sure Andre would be proud. Who, by the way, I'm happy to say is still with the Kansas City Chiefs. Your old team.
My old team.
Your old team. So again, Eric Facey will kick it off back at his 30 this time, back 5 yards. This one gets caught up in the wind. It'll be another short one. And they let it bounce. And New Hampshire, had they been heads up, could have recovered that one.
Very dangerous, I'll tell you. A couple seconds later, and UNH might have recovered that ball. I think in the last few series, you see UNH strategy offensively is changing a little bit more. They seem to be going back to the run. And again, not that their passing game is off, but they seem to be mixing it up more and probably putting the defense of Connecticut a little bit on edge. They certainly have the ability to run the ball.
As was just proven. 1st and 10, Connecticut. In motion right there, Masovitz. Lane sticking with the passing game, has pressure, almost picked off by Silva. Instead, Silva knocks it down, and you can see not happy with himself. But nonetheless, he gets congratulated there by Bill O'Malley.
Here we have it on the replay. UNH is getting some good pressure from the outside, from the middle. Just blocks the pass down. What's helping out on that time, too, was excellent coverage downfield. You have the linebackers dropping into a zone and man-to-man in the secondary. Very good coverage that time.
So, Ron Silva, who's right now playing for Dave Duggan, almost had himself an interception. Lane is going to roll out to his right side and airs it out and gets it down to about the 50-yard line, picked up there by David Dunn.
There we've seen it again, Bill. It seems that on particular calls, okay, UNH is getting mixed up on their secondary coverage. We had 3 guys on one receiver that time and 1 guy wide open. So looks like they have a couple of wrinkles in the secondary that they need to straighten out. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
The give goes up the middle to Gallagher, and Gallagher needed only 1 yard. And once again, you played lots of football. It's that left foot, right foot, wherever the official wants to mark it. Of course, this is not the only game going on around the country. Rhode Island has jumped out to a first quarter lead over the University of Massachusetts. That's another Yankee Conference game. And I picked Rhode Island this afternoon. You laughed at me. I can't see Rhode Island. They are defending Yankee Conference champs. They have lost 4 in a row. I can't see them losing 5, despite the fact UMass is the stronger team on paper.
Yeah, I picked UMass. Don't forget, it takes 4 quarters.
That's right, Dave. The game is not over yet. I'll probably be eating crow by the end of the day. Connecticut picks up the first down on the Jeff Gallagher plunge, and they have 4 new downs to work with. 8:16 remaining in the half. 10-7. Connecticut out in front by 3. Lane on a rollout to his left. He's being pressured, waiting for the receiver, and Dunn picks it up at the 30 and is dragged down again. Some big yardage eaten up there by the receiving corps from the University of Connecticut. I don't know what the defensive backs are doing.
I tell you, we have a University of Connecticut quarterback, okay, looking a little bit like a Doug Flutie style. Talking to Coach Bowes beforehand, one of the job of the defense is to keep this man in the pocket. You can keep him in the pocket and apply the pressure, you'll be okay. Let him outside the pocket, and here you see him, okay? Has the ability to run from the outside and also has the ability to throw the ball. When you have the secondary wondering whether it's going to be a run around the side or it's going to be a pass, I'll tell you, you cause some hesitation, that's what happens.
So again, Connecticut on the move. 1st and 10 from the New Hampshire 28-yard line. In motion, David Dunn, and the give goes the other way to Antrim, and Antrim almost wrapped up by Silva. Poor tackling ability right there as Antrim picks up maybe 3.
Responsibility done real well. Stayed at home, should have been there, was there, okay, and just didn't come up with the big play.
So a little shifty offense right there by Connecticut. They tried to fool the Wildcats into thinking everything was going to the right side. Then they countered to the other side with that handoff to Terry Antrim, who picked up 3 yards, giving the Huskies a 2nd down and 7.
Let's hope they start containing him into the pocket.
Lane wants to roll out again. He does very well when he is out there, and the pass goes to Antrim, and Antrim has another first down for Connecticut. So the New Hampshire defense just being eaten alive here in this first half. And many injuries for the Wildcats this season, and one of them is Alec Jaroschuk, who is now down on the sideline with Frank Malicote. And Frank, how are things with Alex?
That's right, we do have Alex Jaroschuk, defensive tackle. He was hurt in the Richmond game with some knee ligaments, but the family name is being carried on out there. A couple of brothers doing the job.
Yeah, both my brothers are doing pretty good right now. They're doing good.
Now, your mother and father got to be quite proud to come out and see all three of their boys out here, Basil and, of course, Ilya, the senior.
Yeah, I do wish I was playing too, but, you know, I had some bad luck at the beginning of the year, and my knee went out, so. But just still, like, you know, to watch my brothers, it's probably pretty enjoyable for them to watch them play out there together.
Betcha. 3 more years for you, eligibility-wise. We hope to get you out there real soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Back to the play, up to the booth.
Thanks a lot, Frank. And I tell you, the Russian front is what they call them coming into this season. Back at the Richmond game, all 3 of them started. Ilya on one defensive end, Basil on the other. And little brother Alex, who was the biggest of the 3, well, height-wise anyway, was right in the middle. He got injured in that Richmond game. Back to action. Lane on the quarterback keeper around the left side is hit. Maybe picks up 2 yards. Very dangerous player.
Yeah, it's UNH did a good job of stringing that one out that time, and again, only picking up about 2 yards. Okay, I have to emphasize, okay, UNH has got to start containing that quarterback. Very dangerous on the run, and again, one of the game plans was to contain him, keep him in the pocket on passing situations, and stop making that hesitation.
See there of one of the Jaroschuk brothers, and they all speak fluent Russian, Dave. You ought to hear those guys in the locker room. You walk by them and you wonder, what the heck, did I miss something? But they all speak fluent Russian. Their parents are Russian, and with a name like Jaroschuk, it's not Italian.
There you go. I tell you.
We have an injured Wildcat down on the field with 5:36 left to go in this first half. Connecticut's leading this one 10-7. So the injured player is 53, Basil Jaroschuk. We just talked to Frank on the sidelines. He had brother Ilya. Now Basil will go to the locker room as the training staff will look over his injuries. And the good thing, Dave, is that he's walking off under his own power. So that's a good sign right there.
That's true.
So with Basil out, Bobby Murray will check in at the defensive position, while Connecticut has a 3rd down and 7. Lane looking to pass, being pressured into the end zone and underthrown. So great pressure by the Wildcat defense, and Connecticut's not able to connect.
That's what I was trying to tell you before, Phil. If UNH is able to get that pressure on him, okay, and he has to hurry that throw, he hasn't been able to hit the target. That's what UNH has to keep on doing, okay, the remaining of this half and going into the second half.
So Mark Carter, who last year kicked 2 field goals against New Hampshire in an 8-10 loss down at Storrs, will come in and attempt his second field goal this afternoon, this one at 30 yards. First one was 20, a little high snap. The ball is up, and it looks like it's true and through. And it is. So Connecticut, on the strength of a 30-yard field goal, now leads by the score of 13-7. But again, the New Hampshire defense was able to stop a touchdown.
UNH is starting to tighten up on defense, and as we go further on in the game, we should be able to see the defense really taking it on, and I think you'll see a turnaround here.
13-7. New Hampshire now trailing by 6. 5:16 left to go in the first half. So New Hampshire, for the second consecutive Connecticut drive, has stopped them from putting 6 on the board, but they've given up the field goal, which I guess is better, Dave. They're defensively holding down inside that 10-yard line.
Better than giving up the 6 points, but once again, get so tight that no points are getting. They're getting the ball right back to the offense, so the offense can put some points on the board.
Dan Smith returning the kick out to the 22-yard line, where New Hampshire will start it 1st down and 10, and they'll have 5 minutes and 11 seconds to work with before the end of the first half, and they trail by 6. And again, Frank Malicote is down on the sidelines. Frank, what's going on down there?
Well, I just talked with trainer Scotty Byron here at New Hampshire, and they're taking Basil Jaroschuk into the locker room. He got a big hit right in the rib cage. It looks okay, but they want to take every precaution, so they're going to take a look at it. They hope to have him back in the game as soon as possible. Back to you in the booth.
Thanks a lot, Frank. Well, it's good to know that it's nothing serious. Again, he did walk off under his own pressure. And speaking of pressure, Bobby Jean is trying to get his Wildcats on track. A long pass to Farrell is corrected at the 45-yard line. Nice job, Billy Farrell, and Farrell is getting up with a little limp. The injury.
Here we go again. Gene dropping back. Plenty of protection. Excellent job by the front line. Beautifully thrown. Look at that spiral. Right in the hand. Farrell does an excellent job going up and coming down with the ball. Excellent by both people.
Out of Needham, Massachusetts, Billy Farrell had some bruised ribs and had missed the last couple of games, but has come up with some big receptions this afternoon.
I tell you, Phil, we're looking at a couple of pro potentials here.
Again, Norm Ford is outside, and Norm Ford has got some blocking downfield. Norm Ford kicked it all the way. Unbelievable. No flags on the play, and Norm Ford for his second big run of the afternoon. The key block, though, Dave, came downfield.
I tell you, excellent running by Norm Ford. He's having one heck of a game right now. Excellent running back.
I tell you what, before the game had even started, before the fans had even poured into Carroll Stadium, Sports Information Director Mike Bruckner said to me, he goes, Phil, tell you what, Norm Ford's going to have a 100-yard day. He's picked up that and more on 2 runs, as he has put the Wildcats in a tie now with Connecticut, and Eric Facey can put them ahead with their first lead this afternoon should he make this extra point. Unbelievable. Spectacular run by the freshman out of Hillside, New Jersey. The kick is up, and it is true. So New Hampshire, for the first time this afternoon, leads 14-13.
Here we go. Norman Ford is going to get the handoff here. Nice pitch. Okay, tucks the ball away. Here we go. Excellent block. Here we go again. All the way down, and a super block coming up downfield here very shortly. Just caught the end of it there. Nice cut back by Norman Ford.
2 big blocks. Sprung Norm Ford for the second touchdown of the afternoon to put the Wildcats out in front, 14-13. We'll be back with more football after this.
Eric Facey will kick off for the Cats.
So, what an exciting run by Norm Ford. His second long-distance run of the afternoon has put the Wildcats in front finally, 14-13. And Eric Facey, who just kicked the extra point to put the Wildcats up by 1, kicks off and taken by Scott Schweitzer at the 25-yard line of Connecticut. And Schweitzer brought down at the Connecticut 39.
I'll tell you, Phil, Norman Ford just having one super game right now. Again, 2 beautiful runs. I think a gentleman that's going really unnoticed right now is number 40 is Derek Milton on both TDs. Okay, Milton came up with key blocks. Okay, excellent. Took the defender right off his feet and put him on the ground, enabling to Norman Ford to break it.
Coach Bose, Dave, speaks very highly of Derek Milton and his other fullback, Kevin Sims, the 250-pounder. Both those players with respectable size and speed, and you mentioned it, without those 2 blocks, Ford may not have been in the end zone.
I'll tell you, Milton looks like a steamroller coming out of that backfield.
Lane, quick outside pass, and it's complete to David Dunn. Stanley Harrison on the coverage, just overrun the pass. He could have probably picked that one off and gone for 6.
Stanley playing the ball a little bit more than the man that time, getting a little excited and a little anxious. Good thing it wasn't turned upfield.
So 2nd down 7 for Connecticut. Took them a while to get on track, but New Hampshire now leads by 1 with 4:26 remaining in the first half. The give goes to Gallagher. Gallagher around that left side is wrapped up by the right side of the New Hampshire defense. But he picks up about 4 on the play. It'll be 3rd down Connecticut. There's a good shot of Gallagher, sophomore out of Middleton, Connecticut. Both squads coming into this game this afternoon with relatively a young ball club. New Hampshire, all sophomores and freshmen and a couple of seniors here and there. I think there are 6 seniors on both starting units for the Wildcats. And that's total.
Not looking too far ahead, but how are they going to look next year?
Well, right now they have to contend with Lane, who gets a quick outside pass to 33, the tailback, Terry Antrim. And Antrim looks like he has the first down on this side of the field, which is the Wildcats' side. There's Norm Ford, number 35, just casually sitting back. 122 yards on 4 rushes. That's this afternoon, folks. 2 touchdowns, 30.5 average per carry. Unbelievable.
That's
We
impressive.
haven't even got into the second half yet, Dave, and he has 122 yards. Of course, a different type of runner than the tailback you played with when you were here, and Billy Burnham.
That's right.
Bill Burnham, a power-type runner, and Norm Ford, a little more speed and finesse. A quick over-the-middle pass goes to Dunn, and Dunn's got some outside room. Eric Thompson tracks him down at the 15-yard line, but that play worked to a T for Connecticut.
Worked to a T. Quick dump pass coming right back into the middle. Very hard to defend. And that nobody around. Happened too fast. Here we go. See a quick drop, just rolling to the right-hand side. Quick dump. There it is. Everybody has to chase. Nobody there to make the play.
The last possible person to save the touchdown was 39 Eric Thompson. He brought Dunn down at the 15-yard line, which is where the Wildcats will have to contend with 4 new downs. Over the top, the ball going to Teddy White on the defense. Ball intended for Glenn Antrim.
Still getting back to the last play there. What makes it real difficult is that the quarterback taking those steps to the right-hand side, looking like the option, okay? Everybody trying to come up and play. All of a sudden, the receiver coming right back across the field and a quick dump.
Yeah, I get what you say. Nice job by White. He was there. Close, though, to being pass interference. He was tight that time on Antrim. There's a nice shot of the center, Tom Kroll from Connecticut. Laying the handoff goes to Gallagher, and he's dropped for a loss in the backfield by 46, Ilya Jaraschuk.
Another situation coming up here where it's bend but never break again by UNH.
Steve Martin and Bernadette Peters star in tonight's Saturday night movie on Channel 9, Pennies from Heaven. Now it's the story of a sheet music salesman who dreams of a world where his songs come true. Steve Martin in Pennies from Heaven tonight at 11:30 right here on Channel 9. 3rd and 11, Connecticut. New Hampshire holding tough on defense, laying back the pass, and he stopped for a loss.
There's the rush we've been looking for. Great pressure.
Scotty Curtis came through like he was shot out of a cannon, and for the 3rd time this afternoon, the Wildcat defense has stopped Connecticut cold.
Here we go. Excellent pressure. Curtis just came flying in there. Beat his man, and I'll tell you, did an excellent job.
Remember,
that's the kind of pressure that they're going to need all day long.
Remember, Dave, he's the fastest and strongest man on this ball club.
He's got some impressive stats, I'll tell you.
Mark Carter in to attempt his 3rd field goal of the afternoon. This one of 42 yards. The holder is Antrim. This one's up, and it looks like it may be good. So Mark Carter is 3 for 3 this afternoon on field goals, and now has given Connecticut the lead, 16-14, with 2:07 remaining in the first half.
Doesn't look like either team's going to want to break. I'll tell you, UConn losing the start here and coming right back and putting more points on the board.
Well, if you follow the pattern of the Wildcats through their first 4 games to date, Dave, you'll notice that they have not been a good first-half team. Their defense is the type of defense that wears down an offensive unit, and their big quarters are the 4th and 3rd quarters. So right now, as you saw in the first and second, they're starting to come around. They've stopped 3 scoring drives for touchdowns by Connecticut and given up the field goal.
What you're telling me is they basically need about 15 minutes to warm up.
Well, I think that's the way it's been. They seem just to get stronger as the game goes on. I mean, that was evident when they beat Delaware in overtime down at Delaware, and just a big win for the Wildcats. And a win here this afternoon would be even nicer because that would put them at 3-1 in the conference play and 4-1 overall.
That's what makes this game so important to both teams.
So Carter, who just kicked his 3rd field goal of the afternoon, that one from 42 yards, is set to kick off. Back to receive around their own 1-yard line, number 12, Stanley Harrison, and 30, Danny Smith. And the ball is up. This one has the wind behind it, and is taken by Harrison at the goal line. And Harrison is brought down at the 11-yard line. And that's where the Wildcats will start it out, 1st down and 10.
Well, if we can have UNH come back this series here and put some more points on the board, I'll tell you, we could be in for a long second half and a long afternoon.
Well, I say just give the ball to Norm Ford. I mean, what the heck? If he's going to
worked twice.
if he can run that distance and have Derek Milton blocking for him, I'd give the ball to him again. Todd Urbanek started this game at tailback, and Norm Ford has come on strong. And there's the pitch to Ford around that side, and he'll twist up to about the 15, where it'll be 2nd down. You know Norm's a freshman because he doesn't have his name on the back of his jersey like all the upperclassmen do.
I think maybe after today they may put his name on it.
So Norm Ford in the first half with about 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a game for some guys. There's Bobby Jean over the center, and the pitch out to Ford again. They're working him around that side. And that time he picks up about 3 yards.
I'll tell you, Phil, at the beginning of the game, I said that looks like they may be working the left side of UConn pass-wise. And what they're doing is working the left side run-wise, okay, where we have Travis that we talked about before. The left corner is the force man on the outside. And that's who Derek Milton, okay, is just eaten alive.
So in other words, they're working that run and possibly going to pop a pass play down that sideline. And there's Ford again, and Ford is up close to a first down. I don't think he has it. He may be short by about a yard, which means that Nate Baldacero will have to come in and punt the ball away. And that's the case. So the Wildcats with 3 straight run plays, and they have gone away from the passing attack, which has gotten them to where they are today. Will go right back to the running game, and they're going to punt the ball out of their half of the field with 40 seconds left to go in the first half.
I still like to see him go back to those quick ends.
Well, they may do that. You just made a very good point, Dave, and that's that they are running the tailback and the fullback to the side that Travis Sasser is on. And if he keeps coming up on a fake of a run, then he could conceivably get beat on a pass.
What we could possibly be seeing here is the setup for third quarter.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the Wildcats have characteristically this season been a second-half team. A lot of that may have to do with the tongue lashing they get in the locker room at halftime.
We'll have Junie Carbonell go down there and give him a big speech again.
So there's a nice shot of some of the alumni and some of the residents here at the University of New Hampshire enjoying this sunny afternoon in Durham. Nate Baldacero is back at his own 5-yard line with 40 seconds remaining, and he'll kick to Dunn. This one's an end-over-end kick taken by Dunn at the 50, and Dunn runs back and is brought down by Ilya Doroschuk, kind of like a cowboy would tackle down a steer in a rodeo.
Very good coverage on that. The guys are getting down there real quick and just fenced them in and put them down.
So if the Wildcats can hold off here in the next 31 seconds and going to the locker room at halftime only trailing by 2, that's not too bad, considering Connecticut really has eaten them up in the middle portions of the field. But the Wildcat defense holding tough inside their own 10-yard line.
If I was playing down there, I'd have to look at it that way. With one exception, I could see that the defense held them, but I'd like to be going in there winning.
Lane back to pass, and now he's got running room after all the receivers were covered, and oh, he took a wallop down at the 32-yard line. Tom DeGasperis and Stanley Harrison in on the coverage. 24 seconds left in the half. And you can bet that head coach Tom Jackson wants his Huskies to be up by a little more than 2 going into the locker room. Lane. And gets Antrim, and they're working that sideline. So Glenn Antrim eats up some time on the clock and gets it down to the 15. And even if they can't punch it in, they have Mark Carter, who's 3 for 3 this afternoon on field goals.
It'd be nice not to see UConn go in there with extra points on the board. I'll tell you, it'd be a big factor to UNH.
Second down and about a yard to go for Connecticut. The drop back looking outside to Antrim and can't get to him. That ate up 4 seconds on the clock.
He hurried the pass there. Nice pressure up the middle that time.
11 seconds left to go in the half, and as the players break to go into the locker room, we should be able to get a word from head coach Bill Bowles and get his assessment on the way things went in the first half for his Wildcats. Of course, I'm sure he's not going to have anything too good to say. Listen,
all the good things come after the game.
Well, that is if the Wildcats can win. But Connecticut, they are a good team. They are ranked 18th in the country. They are ranked nationally, and they are undefeated. And we have another timeout by Connecticut. That's their third and final one in this half. And with 11 seconds left to go in the half, it's 16-14. The Huskies out in front of the UNH Wildcats by 2 points. Seconds left to go, and this first half is history of homecoming 1986. And right now, Connecticut out in front by 2 points, David. And I think that they're just going to go ahead and have Carter kick the field goal now.
Yeah, it appears that way. Interesting point you made a few minutes ago. UConn ranked number 18th in the country, okay? They're also ranked number 10 against the run in the country, and UNH has scored both touchdowns on the run.
Well, they probably worked all week on the pass game, knowing that Bob Jean and his talented core of receivers would come out throwing the ball, and all of a sudden the ground game, which has worked so well over the years for the Wildcats, has put them 2 touchdowns on the board. And right now, Mark Carter is looking to make it 4 for 4 in the afternoon, and this one looks like it is good. So Mark Carter, who last year kicked 2 field goals against New Hampshire, this year has kicked 4, and with 7 seconds left to go in the half, has given the Wildcats a 19-14 deficit to try and fight back from.
I'll tell you, Mark Carter appears to have a very strong leg out there. Very accurate, and no problem with that ball going through the uprights.
So Mark Carter's foot has been accurate this afternoon.
You're going to go see UConn put more points on the board. Some good pressure from the outside, and even on the other field goals, UNH is coming close. Another split second, you may see UNH blocking some of those. But right now, it's a strong leg of Mike Carter keeping them in the ball game.
UNH defense has held their own once the ball gets inside the 10-15-yard line. And the Huskies have had to settle for 3 straight field goals after scoring that first touchdown early in the game. The pass from Lane to Scott Schweitzer for the first score of the afternoon. And the Wildcats will probably have just enough time to return this ball before we wrap up the first half of this game. Mark Carter is set to kick from his own 35, and Dan Smith and Stan Harrison are back at their own 2-yard lines awaiting that kick. And Carter's kick is high and comes down in the end zone, and Smith will bring it out. The fake reverse goes to Harrison, and 2 seconds, 1 second.
That's a penalty down.
And a flag on the play, but usually that means clipping against the return team. Didn't need a crystal ball to figure that one out. Clipping against New Hampshire. With 1 second left on the clock, the Wildcats will probably just fall on this one. They don't want to do anything silly. And they'll end the first half trailing by 5 points. There's another shot of the Wildcat sideline. And the ball is placed back at the Wildcat 6-yard line. 1 second left on the clock. 19-14, Connecticut out in front.
I'll tell you, watching both these teams in the first half, some real talented individuals on both teams.
It's been an exciting first half. And as I indicated, Bob Jean will just fall on it to end the first half. And the Wildcats will go into the locker room, and Connecticut will go into their locker room and talk about what happened in the first half. And before we wrap things up here to go into our halftime show, Frank Malicote is somewhere down on the sidelines waiting to talk with UNH head coach Bill Bowes. Frank?
We have head coach Bill Bowes from the University of New Hampshire. Coach, been running the ball quite well today. You get the big plays, and your big tailback forward has been uncontrollable out there.
Well, he's done a good job. He's had a couple of long runs there, and we're able to move the football. We're just killing ourselves right now. Plus, the other thing, we've got to get tougher on defense. We're giving up some big plays, and we're letting them move the ball on us, and we've got to get better.
Ford's last run, 54 yards for the touchdown. It looked like you're going to go in a half to 14-13, but 2 quick field goals. That's going to take the power out of your swing going into the halftime.
No question, that hurts a little bit. They haven't made a mistake. They've made every field goal, and they haven't coughed up the football, and we're just getting some big plays, but we've got to get a little more consistent on offense ourselves.
What can we expect from the University of New Hampshire second half?
Hopefully more consistency.
Up in the air?
Who knows? Maybe.
Okay, Coach. Coach Bill Bowes, University of New Hampshire. You heard it from right here. We'll give you a quick update on Basil Doroschuk. A slight bruise in the rib cage. He'll be back hopefully in the second half. They're going to take a little more look at him here at halftime. Reporting down here in the field, I'm Frank Malicote. Back to the booth.
Thanks a lot, Frank. And I tell you, Dave, great first half. by both ball clubs. A few mistakes, as Coach Bowes indicated, by his team. They trail right now going in by 5 points. So hopefully things will get a little better for the Wildcats in the second half. And you've been watching UNH Wildcat football here live on Channel 9. Well, there's a good shot of the UNH Wildcat marching band. I hope you've enjoyed the first half of this football game this afternoon. We have a whole nother half to come. But what would a Channel 9 broadcast of a special event like this be without Lifestyles reporter Kathy Burnham? And Kathy is down on the sidelines right now with a special guest. Kathy?
Hi, I sure do have a special guest. It's Lou D'Alessandro. Now, back in 1960, he was the captain of the UNH football team during the homecoming game against UConn. Well, welcome back. What do you think of today's homecoming game, Lou?
Oh, Kathy, I think it's a great game. Certainly UNH has changed in the last 25 years. 100 people on the sidelines. We had 40 kids on our football team. We beat the University of Connecticut that day, 17-9. We had a wonderful football game, and we had a wonderful group of fellows on our football team. This year's team's super. UNH can be very proud of it. The state of New Hampshire can be very proud of it. Norm Ford, who went for those 2 touchdowns, broke off 2 brilliant runs. For Connecticut, Carter has kicked 4 field goals. That's a Yankee Conference record. So record-breaking performances today at UNH, but it's great to be back on campus.
Watching what's going on and speaking as an alum, what's going to happen in the second half, Lou?
Well, I'm confident that UNH can come up with a victory. The fact that Connecticut didn't score when they were down close and had to kick those field goals indicates that the UNH defense is pretty strong. I would say the pass defense has got to improve just a little bit because Connecticut's getting awfully close. UNH has a very fine offensive program, good receivers, they can move the ball, and we look for a Wildcat victory on this homecoming day.
Okay, Lou, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you. Remember, Kathy, you were a cheerleader for one of our basketball teams, so keep it up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks an awful lot. We'll have a lot more interviews for you throughout the halftime activities. Now we'll take it back up to the booth.
Well, I tell you what, Kathy looks like she's having a lot of fun down on the field, and college football sporting events are a lot of fun. But there are also some bad things about college athletics, and Frank Malico, during this halftime, will have a special piece on drugs and collegiate sports. Halftime score, New Hampshire 14, University of Connecticut 19. We have a lot more coming your way. Stay with us, please.
Straight back.
You guys got to be kidding.
Let's get it over with.
Let's not rush into this.
Let's rush into this. Wait, save the Molson Gold. It's on later. It's a bribe.
Oh, it's an incentive.
I want 50% up front.
Steinway? No German beer. I got Molson Gold.
You got any strong neighbors?
Want a beer?
Howdy! Want some help?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, collegiate athletics can be a lot of fun to participate in and to watch. But earlier this year, the death of Len Bias and then Don Rogers from the Cleveland Browns had a lot of people thinking about drugs and athletics. And earlier this month, the NCAA handed down a tough ruling on postseason drug testing. And Channel 9 Sports Director Frank Malico has spent the better part of this week putting together a package on that subject. Frank?
Thank you, Phil. That's right. Just about 2 weeks ago, the NCAA passed a new ruling that will require all athletes that participate in postseason play, that'd be the bowl games, NCAA Final Four in basketball, all the way from field hockey on down, to take part in random drug testing. And it's not unusual. It's been met with mixed emotions.
High visibility, big money contracts, prestige, role models. Now these are all labels pinned on today's athletes. But for some it's been tarnished due to drug abuse. And it's not just the pros either. Many college athletes are following suit, and the message is clear.
You know, I know from a coaching standpoint, I would love to test before the season and during the season because I would like to know, you know, during the year if anybody is involved. And that way you can take the proper steps to cure whatever problems you have, if any.
The NCAA has taken a hard line on drugs this year. In fact, just a week and a half ago, they handed down a new ruling which will require all athletes that participate in postseason play to submit to random drug testing. Now, this is a tough ruling, but most of the athletes applaud the new decision.
I think you get enough enjoyment out of the sport, and you don't need that. Other people may need it because they don't have something else, but football and athletics I've been around and I've grown up with, and so I don't think you need it in the sport to make it any better than it already is.
Well, I don't think that cocaine and marijuana, I mean, that's just absurd. I don't think, you know, I can't see how people do it, and especially with, you know, the Len Bias case and Rogers, and I mean, it's pretty crazy now. I mean, you don't know what you're putting into your body, and it's nuts.
The NCAA's new drug program will only affect championship basketball and football this year, but by 1987, both men and women athletes, football to field hockey, they will all be subject to random drug testing in postseason play. And it's not just the Nebraskas and the USCs, but every college sanctioned by the NCAA.
But we also have to realize that athletes in a college situation are in an environment where the peer pressure is high, and that the use of drugs we know occurs in college, and that they could be put into that situation. And although we have to educate them so that they understand that drug use can turn to abuse and that it can become a problem.
But should the education stop there? Now, Manchester's Dr. Jamie Smolin believes educating both the coaches and the trainers might be another way to help college athletes battle the drug problem.
I think perhaps we might also include some educational programs for the coaches and other people who have direct contact with the athletes, the trainers, and even the athletes themselves, to have a better system of detecting the athlete who's in trouble and in need of help, rather than just counting on analyzing their urine or their blood.
Obviously a topic of major concern, and I would imagine and we hope that this is a step in the right direction. We'll have more halftime highlights and a whole bunch more right after this.
I said you don't have to go to Hawaii, send me.
That marching band as they're wrapping up their halftime show. And once again, David, drugs in athletics a serious thing, and I think a lot of youngsters out there should take that to heart.
Yeah, it is a big problem, has been a problem, and finally the universities, collegiate level, pro level, everybody's taking action against it. And I think it's fantastic that they are. I really do.
I think the big problem, the big indication that really brought everything to light was the death early this year of Len Bias and Don Rogers. You spent 4 or 5 years in the pro ranks. What's the feeling among the athletes in the professional ranks about drugs usage and playing?
Well, the 5 years I played down there, playing in professional football is no different than living in society, you know, living out on the street here. You've got different people from all different walks, and some people think it's right, some don't. And, you know, for the majority, especially myself, I feel that, you know, it has no place for it. If you have to do something like that, then you better get out of sports, because you rely on your own ability, and to my knowledge, there's no drug out there, okay, that's going to enhance your performance or anything else. So, you know, why some players or some people want to play the deceit mind game is beyond me. But I'm glad they're starting to take action against it.
And there's a shot of the UNH Wildcat cheerleaders, and it's not the usual uniform they wear, but their homecoming halftime piece this year needed a little flash, from what I understand. Well, a lot went on in the first half. I think as far as Wildcat fans are concerned, a big outing this afternoon by number 35, freshman Norm Ford, who has carried the ball 7 times for 131 yards. Let's watch this touchdown run right here.
Again, some excellent moves. He received some well blocking from the offensive line, and then particularly from the fullback, Derek Bilton. Broke it all away, and nobody could touch him. Excellent, excellent play. And again, he's going to come back and do it again.
And that right there was the touchdown, the first touchdown for the Wildcats this afternoon that cut the margin to 10-7. And tell you, he had another one later on, but Norm Ford looks like he's going to have a great career here at the University of New Hampshire. And I think a few more runs by him. What they really need to do in the second half is go back to their passing game, Dave. That's what's gotten them to the 3-1 start that they have this year.
Yeah, I think offensively, UNH has to get more consistently, and defensively, they've got to tighten it up.
Rutgers, who have gotten off to a good start, have not had a great afternoon against Penn State today. They trailed 24-0 in the third quarter. Nebraska, that's a close game right there. 10-7 in the second. Gamecocks holding the Huskers tough right there. I think those UNH cheerleaders have a lot of energy, but I don't have as much energy as they do, so I need a break. Still in halftime, it's 19-14, the University of Connecticut out in front.
This season, McDonald's is getting you into the game.
Heard about McDonald's?
Well, it's near the end of the season, baseball season that is, and the Red Sox are getting ready to prepare for next week's game First game against the California Angels in the American League Championship Series. This afternoon against the New York Yankees, there's some bad news. Rich Gedman has been hurt. The injury was serious enough that they have to take him to the hospital. We'll keep you as up to date as we can as the evening goes on. But as you can see there on your television set, the Wildcats have come out to get ready for the second half of this game as the captains from both squads are out at center field. And speaking of center field, Kathy Burnham takes center stage. I see you have the UNH cheerleaders with you on the sideline.
I sure do, Phil. In fact, right now, let's talk to the captain. Her name is Denal News, and you're also Miss Newmarket. You're off to the Miss New Hampshire pageant. You guys are celebrating. How'd you feel your routine went at halftime?
Pretty good. I screwed up a little. Everybody else did great, but it went really well.
So what are you going to do to make sure this is a victorious second half?
Gonna cheer them on. We're gonna win.
How have the fans all been so far?
Great, really great. Everybody's really rowdy.
Are they just the way you wanted? Are they following you and all?
Yeah, they're better. The band's great too.
This is the best they've ever been. I hear son saying, super, all right, you do your job, you're doing great. Thanks a lot. Back to the booth.
Kathy Burnham, where do you get that energy? The UNH cheerleaders on the sidelines with Lifestyles reporter Kathy Burnham. We showed you a few minutes ago Norm Ford's first touchdown run of the afternoon that cut New Hampshire's deficit to 10-7. We'd like to now show you his second touchdown run that put the Wildcats at a 13-13 tie. David, why don't you explain this play to our
Here's
viewers?
a quick toss back to Norman Ford, and once again, you're going to see some great blocking hit right there. Cut him right from the legs, and he hopped over him, and he's just on his way. He's going to do some more fancy footwork further on down here, and he just mowed it out, and he went in for a TD. Having an excellent day, and I tell you, he may just be heading for the record books today.
Well, speaking of records, funny that you should mention it, Mike Carter has scored field goals this afternoon. Has tied a Yankee Conference record for field goals in a game. And remember, we still have a whole second half to go.
Might be another individual entering the record books.
And the funny thing about it is, right now he is tied with Domingos Carlos, who also played at the University of Connecticut several years ago, and so he's trying to break an old Huskies record. He has 4 right now, and if things go the way they did in the second half, hopefully he won't break that record.
Well, let's hope in the second half here UNH gets a little bit more consistent on the offense, and on defense we tighten it up and play the type of defense that UNH is known for. We have that, we're going to have a big victory for UNH.
So the Wildcats kick off to start the second half, and Facey's kick is deep into the end zone. As a matter of fact, it's deep enough where the Huskies will down it there and start 1st and 10 from their own 20. Once again, it's 19-14. The Huskies out in front of the Wildcats by 5.
I'll tell you, it's a great way to start the second half where no return on the kickoff. They start at their 20-yard line. If UNH manages to keep it from the 50-yard line down into theirs, we'll be all set.
Connecticut has shown me a lot this afternoon, and they have shown me why they are undefeated at 3-0. They were lucky enough to beat Richmond earlier this season, and right now giving the Wildcats all they can handle. Lane on the little counterplay in the backfield to Gallagher, and Gallagher fights through for about 2 or 3 yards.
A quick final trap on that play, and UNH stayed right at home and handled it very well.
Second down. As I told you earlier, Dave, this is the half where the Wildcats characteristically in the early part of this season have been strong in the second half.
Nothing wrong with that.
High formation, 2 receivers out there. That's Schweitzer and Dunn. Lane, the give to Gallagher. Gallagher trying to fight around the left side, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage.
Bill O'Malley coming up with a great tackle right there. Coming right from behind and pulling him right down.
Now, as far as the University of Connecticut offense is concerned, their big quarters this year have been quarters 1 and 2. Quarter 3, they've been so-so, and quarter 4, they put some points on the board. But their strongest game is in the first half, so it's a total contradiction of what we said about the Wildcats. Let's see if that stands true here as Lane drops back with plenty of time to pass, just through the hands of an open Dunn. And the Huskies, on their first possession in the second half, will have to punt the ball away to the Wildcats.
Once again, it looks like UNH has changed their secondary up a little bit, playing a little bit more man-to-man and playing a lot tighter. So it looks like they probably corrected the problems that they were having in the first half.
And Carreri on the punt. A line drive, and Harrison will collect it. No, he's going to collect it, but not go very far with it. So Harrison covers the ball down at the New Hampshire 42-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats will start out. First down and 10. We are into the second half. 19-14, Connecticut still leads this one. We'll have a lot more football coming your way after this. From number 17, Bobby Jean, to freshman receiver Chris Braun, and don't think for 1 second. You're not going to believe this, fans, but while we were in that commercial break, the Wildcats just got a long scoring strike from number 17, Bobby Jean, to freshman receiver Chris Braun, and don't think for 1 second you won't get a chance to see it, because we were able to get it all on replay, and my color assistant, Mr. Rosmick, will take you through what just happened while we were in that break.
Talking about a fired-up offense, ball was snapped and bobbled by Bobby Byrne. Bobbled it, picked it back up, came back, set, threw the ball, went through the defender's hands, off of his hands, and into the receiver's hand for a TD. Excellent play.
All right, Eric,
there comes the replay.
Extra point is good, and now here's your chance at home to watch it, Dave.
Here he bobbles the ball, picks it right back up, comes up nice and poised. Man coming in, boy, I tell you, he just sat there like a pro. Fires the ball up sky high. Look at that, off the hands and into the other. Excellent, excellent play.
We talked about Travis Sasser. You mentioned it in the first half, how the Wildcats kept running to Sasser's side, and eventually they were going to throw.
Let's work the left side.
Sasser, though, did have a chance to pick that one off, and it went right through his hands, and Chris Braun in perfect position. The Wildcats now lead this one by the score of 21-19, and what a way to start the second half.
I'll tell you, the way Bobby Jean throws that football, it's just, he's got some speed behind there, I'll tell you.
There's a happy Chris Braun, number 10 on the sideline, shaking the hands of his offensive counterparts.
It's a good job on Braun's part, too. Concentration, coming off the hands of a defender and looking it right into his own and scoring a TD.
3 touchdowns last week against the Dartmouth Big Green. As a matter of fact, last week, Richie Byrne had thrown 3 times to Braun, and all 3 times he threw to him, they were for points. So that's a big play capability man you have right there. His face, he gets set to kick off from his 30 and does so. And this one again goes into the end zone. And George Booth will down it, so the Huskies will start the second possession of the second half from their own 20. But even more important, the Wildcats come right out in the second half. Don't let what happened in the first half bother them and put quick points up on the board.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're really wondering what kind of quarterback Bobby Jean is, you would have saw it the last play there. Bobble the ball, concentration, pick it back up, man in his face, okay, poise, sets, bang, score. I'll tell you, he's going to be a great one.
So now the Huskies will have to regroup from their own 20 and see what they can do to counter that play by Bob Jean. Lane, the counter play once again in the backfield to the fullback Antrim, and Antrim's got some speed, picks up 9 on the carry.
Well, it worked that time for him on the counter. And the outside people got caught inside, and that's what happens. Once they beat that corner, they're going to pick up the yards.
Number 33, Terry Antrim, the brother of receiver Glenn Antrim. Second down and 2 now for the UConn Huskies. 12:53 remaining in the third quarter. They trail this one 21-19. The outside give goes to Gallagher. Gallagher wrapped up there by Ron Silver, Scotty Curtis, and number 30, Dan Smith. So a great team effort by the defensive unit from New Hampshire.
Well, one play to the other. Next play here, you see UNH really come to the occasion and control that outside and put up a no gain.
Defensive end Basil Jaraschuk has not checked back in yet to the defensive unit from New Hampshire, and what they are doing is they're shuffling in and out Bobby Murray and Kevin Kane at his position. Bobby Murray wearing 90 and Kane wearing 83. Playing on the right side of that defense. The give goes to Gallagher. Gallagher is going to be denied the first down. And I have to applaud the Wildcat defense, Dave.
Excellent job. I'll tell you, they read play well and some solid contact there. That was Scott Curtis again. I'll tell you, he's a heck of a ball player. He's having a great game today.
Well, I think Tom Jackson over on the far sideline has a decision to make, and a wise one. He's going to put the ball away. I think he wanted the officials to bring the chains out of measure, but the officials decided that the ball wasn't close enough to measure. So Carreri will come in and punt the ball away again for the Huskies, the second time he has done this in the first half. Second half, let me check that. Stan Harrison stands back waiting to receive a high one, and he'll take it as he's done all season, and he'll get wrapped up. at the 30-yard line. So Stan Harrison is a fearless punt returner. I haven't seen him call a fair catch yet this season.
He sure is. I don't know if I would have stood there myself.
Let's watch the replay of that punt, Dave.
Get some good height on the ball here. And there's some quick coverage down there. He's going to catch this one with his hands above his head, which is a very difficult catch in football. You usually letting it come down with your hands underneath it. Good play.
I think Stan has the attitude that if I have my little space, I'm going to catch it and see if you can catch me. Bob Jean drops back to pass and airs this one out to Curtis Olds. Oh, the reception, but he's out of bounds. So Curtis Olds, who has been a big play man all season long for the Wildcats, has come up with two nice catches. Unfortunately, Dave, both of them have been out of bounds.
And not by much either. I'll tell you, they're finding a way to beat the defenders. You see, we have plenty of time back here. UNH offensive line do an excellent job. Look at the time he's got. Sets up in the pocket and just fires that ball. I'll tell you, he's got a pro arm there. Up and he beats the defender and just comes out of bounds.
Just needs 1 foot in bounds, and twice this afternoon, 2 acrobatic catches that have come short.
I'll tell you, the way these Connecticut defenders are playing, they're not sure that Burns can throw the ball that far.
You can bet that Olds is going to come down with one of those before the afternoon is over. Gene again wants to throw and has plenty of time, gets out of the pocket, and downfield block from Olds. And Bobby Jean is going to run with it. Bobby Jean still on his feet and gets the first down up to the Wildcat 47-yard line. The defensive back who was covering Curtis Olds did not look back, which enabled Jean to pick up that large real estate.
I'll tell you, not only can Bobby Jean throw the ball, but here we have a great example of he can also tuck it away and run. Good movement, good solid runner. Most quarterbacks at this point, when they see the defenders starting to come up, will go down and protect themselves, and Bobby just wants to run right through them.
Norm Ford, the pitch out, goes to the freshman out of Hillside, New Jersey, and this time, instead of picking up yardage, he gets dropped for a loss. But I don't think he's too worried about that, because in the first half, he had 131 yards. Another big run like he had in the first half, and he'll be up to the 200-yard mark. There's a good shot of the offensive unit from New Hampshire, and the big man in the backfield to the left side, number 49, is Kevin Sims. Now get this, 250-pound running back. And if you don't think he can move, isolate on this young man. That's if Bob Jean doesn't throw the ball. There's the draw play, and all right, so he stood me up this time. He got dropped for a loss, but I tell you, he's got some speed, and when he gets going, he's hard to bring down because he's so wide, defensive backs just can't wrap him.
He is. He's a big boy, and that time there, UConn defense just wasn't fooled, and they were waiting right there for him. No chance at all. He is a big boy.
So the Wildcats get dropped for a loss, which will move the ball back to their own 40-yard line. 9:50 remaining in the third quarter. The Wildcats out in front, 21-19. And they got that lead from their first play from scrimmage in the second half. A long scoring strike from Bob Jean to freshman receiver Chris Braun. And this one is picked off. Picked off at the 10-yard line by the UConn defense, and you have to give credit that time to Scott Daniels, who Tom Jackson says has pro potential. The ball was intended for number 7, Curtis Olds.
I'll tell you, one of the problems at the beginning of the season with Bobby Jean is that he was trying to force the ball all the time. And by forcing the ball, okay, it means that he picked one receiver and he was going to throw the ball no matter what, not dumping off at the secondary receivers. Now, that hasn't happened yet this game until right now. Bobby Jean had the outside man open and decided to throw the inside, which was double covered.
So Lane, with good field position from his own 46, wants to throw it out first play, and he's got plenty of time to do so. And this one is going to be picked off by Eric Thompson. So an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and the Wildcats get the ball right back at their own 41-yard line.
Poor decision to throw the ball at that point. Probably should have kept it and ran with it. Excellent defensive play.
Eric Thompson is a fine athlete. Last year, he used to return punts for the Wildcats, but got hurt in the main game. So this year, they have given those chores to number 12, Stan Harrison. And Eric Thompson, he's a great one playing in that defensive backfield for the Wildcats. He just to give you an indication of how good he is, that was his third interception of the season. And he's still got 7 more games to play. Gene again comes back with the pass outside to Olds, and Olds with some footwork gets loose, and he'll get dropped at the 50, about 2 yards short of the first down.
It was a good example of Bobby Jean's ability to read, okay? Again, he had the 2 wide receivers to the left, and the man going inside was picked up automatically, and the outside was wide open.
There was a shot of Curtis Olds. Curtis Olds is as I mentioned earlier, quite a character. You should hear him in the locker room singing songs to his teammates until they start snapping in with the towels. 2nd down, and 2 to go for New Hampshire at midfield. The give goes to Milton, and Milton powers close to a first down. Let's see if his forward momentum got him the first down. And last week, the team that New Hampshire pummeled 66-12 right now is trailing Navy 21-0 in the second quarter. So a game that a lot of people thought was going to be a big blowout is a little closer than I thought. Well, actually, New Hampshire had 21 points in the first half of that game last week, and then they poured on 45 in the second half. So maybe Navy will do the same thing. There's a shot on the sidelines of Coach Phil Estes talking with quarterback Bobby Jean. Phil Estes also used to play some football here. He was an all-conference offensive lineman for Coach Bill Bowes back in the late 70s, early 80s. This reminder that tomorrow night on Fame, Jesse is faced with holding on to his principles or selling out to a record producer who wants to alter his award-winning song. That's Sunday night at 6 on Fame on WMUR TV, Channel 9. Join us. So after the officials bring the chains out, they mark it, find out that the Wildcats are short by about just the nose of the ball. So I don't think Connecticut's going to be too full as they move everybody up the line expecting the run, either a keeper or one of the backs out of the backfield. And it's a keeper.
He's got it.
Heck, Bobby Jean himself is 6 feet 2 inches. All he had to do was fall forward. They only needed about a shoestring.
6 feet 2, 200 pounds. He is almost as big as I was in the pros, playing linebacker.
Yeah, you kept yourself in pretty good shape. It looks like you could probably still go back and play.
I had thoughts about putting a jersey on when I came back here.
1st and 10, New Hampshire, inside Connecticut territory at the Husky 47. Jean again to pass. Great protection by the offense, and a reception by Chris Braun, and a pass interference call against the Huskies.
Great concentration right there, pulling that in, being interfered. He was belted at the time, even before the ball came in. We have it on the replay here. Watch Bobby Jean there. Nice setup. Very confident. There it is right there. Okay, just before the ball, climbing up onto the back. Excellent job by Braun on concentration, pulling that ball in there.
So Chris Braun has done really well coming in here. He didn't play a whole lot in the first half. Billy Farrell came in, and now it's the Chris Braun show. And it's a 1st down and 10, Wildcats down to the Connecticut 30-yard line.
I'll tell you, watching Bobby Jean today, really impressed with him. The way he sets back there, the poise and confidence that he has with this offense.
And Dave, he's only a sophomore. He's got 2 more years left here at New Hampshire. There's the give to one of the big fullbacks. That one is Kevin Sims, maybe 2 yards on the pickup. And let us not forget there are 3 of us working this game this afternoon, along with Dave and myself, Channel 9 Sports Director Frank Malacote, who is somewhere down on the sidelines. Frank, where the heck are you?
Down here on the sideline. Trainer Scotty Byron. Scotty, maybe give us an update on Basil.
He got hit with what looks to be like a helmet or shoulder pad right under the rib cage, and so he's got a good bruise, and we're just going to hold on to him.
So he'll be out for the rest of the game?
Yes, he will.
Okay, that's the news on Basil Drostruck. Back to the booth.
Scotty Byron, an excellent trainer, has mended many a broken finger and tapes up the players before every game. I had a chance to talk to him before this one, and he gave me the update on all the players. Basically, he's very happy that the team as a whole is healthy this far into the season. What you just saw there was Bobby Jean dropping back to pass. And he's going to hit Rob Spittle over the middle. And Spittle, another freshman, a freshman tight end, has done very well for the Wildcats this year also.
First catch of the day, Phil.
Another one of those New Jersey products. First and 10, New Hampshire. They're on a drive, and the counter play goes to Ford with a nice little bit of footwork in the backfield, but gets dropped for a loss.
Almost, but not quite.
You know, in the pregame show, I mentioned that New Hampshire, with 100 football players on their squad, only have 6 players from New Hampshire. They have a lot of players from New Jersey, and Coach Bo seems to think that's a hotbed. If you think about it, though, Irving Fryer is from New Jersey, Mike Rozier is from New Jersey, and so he does very well by recruiting from out of that area.
Even the years I played, there were quite a few guys from New Jersey. Let's not forget Massachusetts, though, too.
Oh, a lot of, I think 80% of the players on this team are from Massachusetts. Gene looking out of the backfield, and a nice play by Scott Daniels, the defensive back, and that could have been picked up for another first down. Rob Spittle was the intended receiver. And again, UConn head coach Tom Jackson says that Scott Daniels has professional potential.
Yeah, Scott Daniels made a nice play there. Okay, again, he's no different than the other defensive backs. They seem to be playing a lot tighter, and what they're doing is putting that other hand on the receiver's back, which is very dangerous to do. Although it wasn't called, okay, it can be called and very costly at that move. He's got great position on him and everything else. There's no need for that.
5:42 remaining in the third quarter. New Hampshire leads this one 21-19, and they have a third down and 12 from the UConn 18-yard line. Gene back to pass. Lots of pressure, and he'll eat this one. And they say he was in the grass. Not only was he in the grass, he was in the grass. Looks like he tried to throw that one. Luckily, he didn't get a flag because that would have been tacked on to what he just lost. So Eric Facey, here's an interesting development here. Eric Facey, who Coach Bo says can kick 50 yarders in practice, is out right now to try a 54-yard field goal.
This ought to be interesting.
All right, 53 yards. Coach Bo says he has the leg. Let's see if he's as successful as counterpart Mark Carter. And this one's just not going to have the energy. This one falls short, and there was some pressure from that outside. So Eric Facey's field goal attempt of 53 yards falls short, which leaves New Hampshire still with a lead of 21-19 with 4:57 remaining in the third quarter.
Connecticut takes over, first and 10 at the 36-yard line.
New Hampshire, during that commercial break, just recovered a fumble that was given up by 33 fullback Terry Antrim. And the Wildcat defense has given the Wildcats another breath of fresh air.
They're starting to hold up those running backs, and the rest of the guys are coming right along and just taking some good shots at them and causing the big play to happen.
I told you the defense of this Wildcat squad, they just get tougher, and they hit harder, they wear down the opposition. And that was a pretty good indication right there, as the Wildcats now have a first down and 10 from the Connecticut 40-yard line. Lone setback is Derek Milton. Gene, look at all that time. He wants to air it out to Braun, and nice job by Braun to break it up because it was almost picked off there by 43 Kevin Johnson.
That's heads-up playing by Braun. It really is. The ball was thrown, wasn't going to quite get there. The defender would have had that picked off, and Braun right up over top and pulled the ball right out of his hands.
Well, I think Coach Bo's there looking to take a page from Joe Yukika's playbook. Last week, Dartmouth scored on their very first play from scrimmage, so Coach Bo says, what the heck, let's go for all the marbles on our first play. That time, it was almost picked off, so New Hampshire with a second down now and 10, still from the Connecticut 40. All kinds of people in the backfield. Rob Spittle there in motion. Gene with pressure from the outside, and there's Spittle with the reception and a first down at the Connecticut 23-yard line.
I tell you, Bobby Gene took a good hit from the blind side that time, but still managed to hold his poise and everything else and get the ball out there. Here you have it on replay. You're stepping back. You'll see it coming bottom of your screen there. Here it comes. A good shot and got the ball away. Scott Daniels once again coming up with that big play. Everybody's talking about Scott Daniels. They say probably one of his biggest assets is that he's able to read the pass patterns and read the play well before they happen, which puts him well before the ball even gets there.
New Hampshire gives to Norm Ford, and Ford ahead for about 3 yards. The Wildcats have the ball on its possession thanks to a fumble by Connecticut fullback Terry Antrim. And they're putting this offensive possession to good use as they have moved the ball down inside the Connecticut 20-yard line. Now, before Connecticut had coughed up the ball, Eric Facey had attempted a 53-yard line, which had stopped his string at 6. Up until that point, he had gone 6 for 6 straight, which was his own personal school record. That quick pass to the outside to Farrell gets the ball down to the 14-yard line of Connecticut.
That is 7 catches for Farrell today, and again, just another quick look in, and ball right on target, right in his hands.
Well, you mentioned, Dave, that those types of plays work very well. You said that if a college team can get that type of offense going, it's to their benefit.
Well, I'll tell you, if you can do those quick ins on players, okay, sooner or later they get tired of getting burned, and they start playing tighter. The minute they start playing tighter, all of a sudden that quick look in is a look, and bang, up the field, and it's for 7 points.
The pitch out to Ford, and Ford has got some running room, and Ford is got another first down for New Hampshire up to the 11-yard line. We just talked about Billy Farrell and how Chris Braun and Rob Spittle have done, but let's not forget the guy that's been throwing the ball. He's got 260-plus yards this afternoon throwing.
If I didn't know any better, I think I'd be watching a San Diego game here with Dan Fouts behind the controls, and the way the team is moving. You can see coming into the second half here, UNH offensively has picked up a lot of confidence and just really moving the ball now.
And the defense, characteristically, has really come on strong, and now we have a flag on the play. But I think why it's so surprising to both you and I, Dave, is the fact that we know Coach Bowles' offense. We know that over the years it's been run, and maybe pass if you need to get a third down. And for us to see Coach Bowles come out and throw in the first play from scrimmage on a possession is just incredible.
Yeah, it's a big, big change.
So a penalty will push the ball back to the Connecticut 16-yard line. New Hampshire still with a first down. The receivers in the game, 84 Farrell and 7 Curtis Olds. The running backs, Norm Ford and Milton. And there's the pass to Farrell, and Farrell almost had it. A nice play there by 43, Kevin Johnson. And Farrell is getting up slowly. Remember, he had bruised ribs for the last 2 games, and that's why he had not played, and slow getting up. So as he'll come out for, he'll have to come out anyway for at least one play. Chris Braun will check in at his position.
Here's the pass. It's a great defensive play. Just took it right away from him. That's heads-up ball player right there.
So there you see Scotty Byron with the light blue jacket on. The gentleman with the glasses is Doc Elkins, who's one of the team doctors. And Billy Farrell, again, is walking off under his own pressure, so things look good.
With Kevin Johnson and Scott Daniels, UConn has some pretty good secondary people.
They've come up with some big plays. That one right there could have been 6, if not for Kevin Johnson. Now the Wildcats still with 16 yards to go for the first down. Yard markers on 2. Split backs in the field. Pass intended for tight end Rob Spittle, and in on the play, who else? Scott Daniels. So it's still third down, and they need to get down to the 1-yard line before they have a first. And they will shuffle some players in and out. Coming off the field, Chris Braun, Norm Ford, checking in, 26 Todd Urbanek, and Billy Farrell is right back in there, Dave, so nothing serious to Billy Farrell. So New Hampshire looking to move the ball. There's pressure again, and it's off to Urbanek. Urbanek's off to the races, and Urbanek is a touchdown! No flags on the play. Todd Urbanek with some fancy footwork, and Bobby Jean has another touchdown pass. That'll make it 27-19, and should Eric Facey come in to make the extra point, that'll make it 28-19. Watch this replay now. Gene, little play action there to the tailback. Then he'll roll to his right side, finds Urbanek with some fine blocking upfield, and Urbanek with some good speed is off to the races. There at the 10, little stutter step, and he's in. No one even touched him. And the extra point by Eric Facey is good. So with 2:10 remaining in the third quarter, New Hampshire has jumped out to a 27-19 lead, and they are in fine form as they have been all season with a strong second half. Once again, 28-19 New Hampshire with 2:10 remaining in the third quarter. At halftime, trailing by 5, and now they have come out to lead by 9, and Eric Facey is set to kick off. And back deep to receive for the UConn Huskies will be 44, George Booth. We must also give a lot of credit to the defense, who have done a fine job. And again, Facey kicks the ball right out of the end zone. And what's amazing about all this, Dave, is that I mentioned earlier, the college players are still kicking off from the 35.
Yeah, he's very strong leg. Very, very strong. And again, he's a New Hampshire guy, I believe. Keeping up with the game, you can see that when we're talking at halftime, we said if UNH came out here and they were more consistent on offense and a little bit tougher on defense, things were going to change. And I think you're starting to see that right now. Offensively, there's a lot more confidence out there, and they're starting to do the things they're capable of doing.
First and 10, Connecticut from their own 20. Lane wants to air it out, and across the middle, Dunn can't hold on to it. I think Lane had to get rid of that pass quickly because he was getting pressure from number 93, Kevin Doherty, and didn't have as much time as he probably would have liked.
Defensive line really put the pressure on him that time. It was unfortunate that the linebackers blew the coverage. The receiver's wide open and luckily dropped the ball. But some good inside pressure that time on the quarterback.
There's a shot on the sideline of co-captain Dave Duggan, who had injured a groin and has not been playing a whole lot. As a matter of fact, he started out the game, and now he's into his sweats. Lane back to pass again, has got time, and out of the backfield gets Gallagher, and Gallagher is got enough for the first down. It's an 31-yard line.
I'll tell you, the UNH is starting to get some pressure in there. Unfortunately, they're just falling through all the way. Great pressure and just missed them, stepped up and completed the pass. It looks like a little juice going through this defense right now. I think you're going to start seeing some big things happening, big turnovers.
Tell you what, Dave, there's some pretty big fellas along the front line of that Connecticut offense. Stuart Milberg is only a sophomore, 6'5", 300 pounds. So they've got some size along that line as Jeff Gallagher jaunts for about a yard.
That's a lot of person.
Yeah, that's a big man. You know, back when you were playing, I don't think they had the 300-pound lineman. Now you got them all over. You got them carrying the ball. You got them carrying the ball, 300, you know, William the Refrigerator Perry. But Stuart Milberg playing one of those tackle spots for Connecticut, 6'5", 300-pounder. Second down and 8, Connecticut. Lane wants to roll out to his right side and looking for a receiver and has Dunn at the 40. And Dunn is brought down by Smith and a little help from the rest of the Wildcat defense.
Tempest getting a little hot down there with UNH guys coming in and trying to strip that ball, and that's just what they should be doing. That's what defense is all about.
You have to be aggressive to play anywhere on that unit, and the Wildcats pride themselves, and they don't like to get beat deep, especially Eric Thompson. Eric Thompson to Stanley Harrison said the worst thing they hate is to get beat on a simple pass play. They hate that, and I think any defensive back hates that. Linebackers, you should know, they don't like it either. Third and about a yard to go. Ball at the UConn 40 and the straight give to Gallagher, and Gallagher maybe stopped short. He went into the line with some authority, but then all of a sudden the hole closed up. Nothing but blue. And I think it's going to be about a yard short. And we'll wait for the indication from the officials. They ask the players to clear away, and they say no go. So it looks like Connecticut will have a fourth down and 1. Now it's up to Tom Jackson. His team right now trails 28-19 with a second left to go in the third quarter. Do I go for it or just punt the ball away and let the Wildcats start the fourth quarter, you know, with the ball? And as we get ready to go into the fourth quarter, Wildcats lead this one by the score of 28-19.
Time to play! McDonald's in
So with 1 second left to go, Connecticut, that is in the third quarter, don't get me wrong, we still have 15 minutes of football left to go in the fourth. Carreri is in to punt the ball away. And Stanley Harrison is back to receive. Carreri gets off a decent punt. Harrison has to chase it. And now Harrison, almost lost that ball, and that is good enough to end the third quarter. So at the end of 3 full, it's New Hampshire 28, Connecticut 19. We have 15 minutes of football left to go.